Welcome to Wendy's Winticle Stitches. Come and sit a while. Grab your hoop and favorite floss. Let's stitch in simple style. Cross-stitch hats and whips to share with faith in every day. Homeschool life and chickens too in a cozy, gentle way. Welcome to Wendy's Winticle Stitches. Glad you came to stay. Where little X's love and light brighten up your day. If this feels like home to you, give it a like and stay. And don't forget, subscribe, my friend, come stitch with us today. Welcome to Wendy's Winticle Stitches. Come and sit a while. Welcome to Wendy's Winticle Stitches.
Hi Flosstube friends, it's Wendy with Wendy's Whimsical Stitches. Today is Saturday, March 14th, 2026, and this is Flosstube 20. It has been just a little over a month since I last recorded, so today will be quite a bit shorter than last time, and I will give life updates at the end, so if you don't want to hear all that, then you don't have to hang out for it. I will start just by showing you my planner real quick. This is what I have been using. It's Lang Field Guide Deluxe Planner. And this was for the month of February. I didn't get near as much done as I wanted. There's a few days where I didn't do any kind of stitching or crafting at all. And show you where we are in March so far. I picked it up a little in March, although there was one day where I didn't do any kind of stitching. I like this planner just because it had cute illustrations in it already, and it gives me enough space to write. I had a friend that visited in February, so I took some days off just to be with her. It was nice to have her down here. She lives in Washington State, and she's not a crafty person, but she loves gardening. And anyway, we just spent time together. So of course this is mostly about cross stitching, but I have some side crafts that I thought I would share. I saw this on Pickitz Crafts on Facebook. And if you had seen the little house that I had made out of Dollar Tree crates, that was from Pickitz Crafts, and Java Girl Stitches was the first Flosstuber that I saw that showed that. So that's where I first saw it, and then I've been following Pickitz Crafts since then. Anyhow, these are some wood angels. And the wings are painted gold, so is the halo, metallic gold, so that's just not picking up. And there's also some sparkles on the base. Anyhow, these are so simple. I'll show you the rest because they're just different variations. This is a candle holder base and a wood ball, and these are called ring toss. Just wood rings. Those came from Woodpeckers Crafts, and I didn't look at the wood section in Hobby Lobby, but they might have something similar. The wings and the heart came from the lady with Pickitz Crafts. I can't think of her name. Her brother has a website, and if you go to her contact, I don't think she's very active on Instagram, but she's apparent on Facebook, and I believe she has her own website. I have not looked. Anyway, her brother is the one that he has a wood laser, and so he cut the wings and the hearts out for sell. There's a pack of 4. So anyway, you just paint and glitter the base, of course glue the head on, the halo. This is just a piece of, whatever it was. I don't know what classifies as homespun, but I'll say it was homespun that I just, tore and tied it around the neck. These are little paper tags that I crumpled up, distressed with some wax, and I wrote peace on there. And anyway, there's, like I said, there's different variations. The wings are slightly different on each. And I just think if you did craft shows, these would be so cute to sell. The only thing that I would worry about is the wing staying on, just because there's not a large surface to glue the wings to. Pickitz Crafts, she had hot glued everything together. I used wood glue on everything except for the wings. I did a combination of wood glue and the hot glue just because I wanted it to set up, but also wanted a tighter bond than just with hot glue. So that was one item, I guess, all 4 of those. And then I did some wool. I had started seeing Rustic Country Handcrafts show up in my Facebook feed. Is there glare in this? Not really. She has an Etsy shop, but the shop owner of Camp Wool kits up these, some of the patterns, not all of them. If you're able to find a supplier of wool, which I know that there's like Buttermilk Basin, they have a lot. I like to be able to see what exactly I'm getting for wool, because some wools don't have any kind of pattern in them and others do. So anyway, I was happy just to ask for a kit. Camp Wool is in Maine. They do not have a website. I called and I talked to the person at the shop, who might have been the shop owner. She was very nice and friendly, accommodating, and she kitted up the kits that I had asked her to. And I'm sorry if you hear my phone going off there. So anyways, the first one I started with was Violet. It's a mug rug or candle mat. And there was almost enough wool to make 2. So I had a few scraps where I was able to make 2 of these. This is the first one. I decided to keep for myself just because my bunny is sitting a little crooked here. And looks like there's some fuzz on there. Anyway, the second one I made, I'll post a picture here that shows both of them together, and my friend will be receiving the other one shortly. There's the back. These were a little challenging. I watched a YouTube video after I'd already cut out all the pieces of this, where they kept, it wasn't the Rustic Country Handcrafts. It was, I think I did a search for mug rug, wool mug rug, tabs. I think those were the words that I used. They had just cut this out all in one instead of sewing these tabs on separately. But the kit came with the buttons, the thread, even a needle, and the directions and pattern. So this was one I made for Easter spring. My voice is going. I had cut out, the pieces to make this one, and again there is enough wool for almost 2. So I'll be working probably on that one next. And then This is, you can't really see, the picture's really dark, a Valentine one. And I had cut out the pieces for that too, so I will work those in. I have enough time, I think. And then I was talking with, well, texting with Mayor, Sin City Cross Stitcher, Sin City Stitcher, sorry, Mayor. Where am I threw my mat back here. We were talking about how much of a mess our craft areas are, and I told her that I was trying to find some labels, and I was looking for the labels that I had used on my brother's Elvis cat, and I ended up finding these instead. It says Wendy Stitched if it's backwards. I found those. I forgot that I had them, and at the same time I didn't find the ones I was looking for. I told her that craft rooms are a beast. It's just like they have their own spirit. They're hard to control. Anyway, these are Ever Emblem, and I have no idea how old they are. I ordered those, and I've used them a couple times now, and they work great. Okay, this was a Valentine stitch that's So Kelly. Oops, sorry, elbow cut there. She no longer has a website. I can't remember if she retired or what, but anyway, this is no longer available. It was a free pattern if you signed up for her e-newsletters, and it's called Sending Love. And this is what my little pillow turned into. I did some French knots for the bunny tail. And the fabric was in my stash. I don't know what it is. I used 32 count sea mist Zweigart linen. I have fuzzies all over my stuff today. With the charted threads. Stitch 2/2. I typically stitch 2/2 unless it's on like a 20 count Aida. I don't usually stitch on 36 or 18, but even at that, it just depends. Might be 2/1 or 2/2 on 36. Well, no, I take that back. It'd be 1/2 on 36, possibly 2/1 on 18. Typically 2/2 on 28 and 32 counts. This is the first time I had used this trim. This is from Purple Paper Mountain, I'm pretty sure. Yes, her stamp is on her little bobbin here. Anyhow, I wasn't sure how I was going to be able to tack that down. I just went very, very slowly, and I sewed it in. And this is how I finished the back. I put a piece of wool here. This is actually a wood cutout that you get in Hobby Lobby's craft areas. There's usually, it looks like a tic-tac-toe shallow box, or shallow tray I should say, and there's wood cutouts, usually seasonal. This happened to be hearts. I don't know if you can tell that from that far away. My husband couldn't when I showed it to him, but anyway, I put one of those labels on, and there you can see the wood better. And then I used the light bulb pin, ear charm, and beads and a heart. The next thing was Kiralyn's needle art. She's kind of starting to do what Primrose did. She'll supply a free chart in a newsletter, but she has finishing kits that she will sell. And so this one was Egg Money, and It came with everything that's in this picture. There's 18 count Aida, the backing fabric, the charm. I think this was supposed to be a needle minder. It had a magnet on the back, except it didn't have another magnet. So I don't use needle minders anyway. So I just, I'll show you what I did with that. There's this clasp, some trim, and then ribbon. And then I got enough time. I waited patiently for her newsletter to come in the email. And I downloaded the chart. And this is what hers look like. And I don't, that's another thing. Okay, I usually don't use scissor fobs, but I decided to make this into one anyway. Just, you know, I figured the ribbon and clasp could be used to maybe fold this on something, but I can also just fold it to the back where it won't be shown. On her instructions, it says that you can add some blending filament to the white to give it some shimmer. And I decided to do that. And I'll show you mine here, how I finished mine. I changed my fabric to 20 count Atomic Ranch. Let me flip through my notes. Frankincense. It was a Christmas color. This pom-pom trim, I had never tried to sew in a finish before either, and this is what it looks like. I may have gotten this from Joanne. I don't remember where it came from. Anyhow, I think I did a decent job, being that I had never sewn that in before. I again just took my time. I decided to, this had a little hole on this one end, so I decided to cut one of my pins that had a ball head on it. I just cut it and put some glue on it and stuck it in that hole. I don't know if it will stay in this. I just decided to put it here, at least while I was filming, so I could show it to you. And this was her charm that came with the finishing. I just added some buttons in the ear. I'll put it closer. I changed the pin just to match the gold of the clasp that was included. So these buttons came with her finishing. And I don't know if the shimmer shows of the blending filament, but I did decide to, well, it might show on the lower ones right there. I did use one strand of 032 blending filament. And I stitched one thread over one fabric thread since it's 20 count. And there's also the back. How cute. But I'm going to be keeping my eye on her freebie charts, maybe the finishing kits in the future. I thought that was, I think it was $15 with shipping for all the finishing. I mean, the fabric alone was just darling. It's perfect size for this tiny little pin keep. Move stuff out of the way. And since I had gotten behind on my flowers of the month, I wanted to pick one of those up. I only had December and January left, so here's my December. And you can see I'm using my metal board up there. My March is up there already. So I just think that the shading on their flowers is so gorgeous. And there aren't that many colors to use either. And this is on 28 count antique white Lugana. And I will pick up January's to finish up the series next month. Sorry, my daughter was texting me. You might hear her text come in again. Okay, so those were the Stony Creek flowers. And then I finished the Feathered Friends Birdhouse series with March. And this is by Sweet Wing Studio. The chart has already been re-shared, moved on, so I will post a photo here of what the designer, which is Susan, oh, I can't think of her last name right now, Sweet Wing Studios finish. And I can't remember what their called for fabric was. It seemed like it was pewter, possibly. Sorry for the motion there. I stitched mine on 32 count Pearl Gray Lugana with all of the charted threads. This ruffle is actually elasticized. It's an elasticized miniature ruffle. I think it's used for scrapbooking. I found some on Amazon, but I think this one that I'm holding here came from Etsy. And that's all you have to search for is scrapbooking ruffle trim. This is what it looks like. And see how stretchy it is. Anyway, I just, I did use hot glue on this just because I didn't have enough patience to hold it in place while I used Aleene's glue. It matches the peach in that just perfectly, and this is something I had in stash. I think I got from Hobby Lobby. I had a dogwood pick artificial flower, so that's what I used there. The ribbon I just had in my stash already. I got a bundle of this thinner ribbon off Amazon of all different colors. This one here that I'm trying to hold, the peach. There are a lot of plain, and then there's also some with white polka dots on it. So I have enough of that to last a lifetime of all colors, I think. And those are all of my fully finishes. Actually, all of my finishes. There are a few things I wanted to, well, I had some WIPs, but I had some things I wanted to just mention briefly. Deb, traveling stocking stitcher, she mentioned that she had first seen this Mary Ellen's Best Press when I had mentioned it. I think it was on my first Flosstube. If you're dealing with stubborn wrinkles, this really gets it out. It's a light starch. It doesn't leave residue. I typically don't soak my threads, but I do give it a good spritz on the fabric where the wrinkles are, and it's great for removing those wrinkles. And I have not had it cause any bleeding to silks or over-dyed cottons. If you're concerned, you know, definitely test it out before you spray it on your finished cross stitch piece. Well, I don't know why I took notice of this one day. This hangs above our front entry door. And it has glass in it, but it's supposed to be non-glare, so it won't be as glary. This is Dutch Treat Designs, God Bless Her Home. I had stitched this in, it must have been 2008, because that's when I entered it in the Alaska State Fair, and I received first premium prize. It's all, the green is cross stitch, and the red Karen is all satin stitching. I had purchased a frame the same size to do another stitch in. It was this one. He shall give his angels charge over thee. And back in 2020, I'm pretty sure I had packed away the perforated paper that is used to stitch these designs with. There's a number in this series, and when I had purchased these, I had purchased them from Silver Needle in Oklahoma. I don't know if they're still carrying them, but I had found Dutch Treat Designs. They have, I can't remember if it's her name or not. Is it on the back? Oh, DutchTreat.com. So I went to the website, and the perforated paper that they have available is just white in these large sheets. And I ended up ordering it just because I figured I could always stitch something else on perforated paper with it. However, I'm hoping to find my brown, because I want them to look similar. Like I said, when we were packing up the house in 2020, because we thought we were going to move, I'm pretty sure that I packed them away with like another picture, a frame picture, and it got me, like I was moving stuff around the craft room trying to find it. I know the box, I can see it. It was just like a flat cardboard, white cardboard. I just call it box. It's mainly just a huge envelope. Anyway, if you like stitching on perforated paper, look at Dutch Treat Designs. And the satin stitching, it goes by so fast. But while I had that down, I thought I would share that. Okay, my works in progress. So I told Amy, I think it's Amy M Makes. Maybe I have it written down. Might just be Amy Makes. Let me see. I'm off. Anne Makes Things on Instagram. She had the this I know, from Plum Street as a stitch along, and it's hashtag Jesus Loves Me SAL in February, and I did not get much done. Beforehand, I pretty much just had the window and the top peak there. Well, I didn't add a whole lot to it. This is one I'm going to continue working on, I promise. And I'm continuing on the 13 for the 250th SAL with the two Nancy's. Their contacts in the upper left there. I've done really well on this. The stars are the ones that I have finished. And I just started the Patriotic I have my pattern, where'd it go? What's it called? 4th of July Round by Primrose. Sorry, let me see if I can find my pattern for it. Oh, here it is. It's stitched with Baldani threads, 2/2 on 32 count, taupe Lugana. And this is what I'm going to continue stitching on this weekend. And the other is America the Beautiful by Stitching with the Housewives. I've shown this before, and I looked to see if I had a photo of where I had started stitching on it since I last recorded, and I did not take one, so glad that all my scroll rods here. Anyhow, that's where I'm at. I really don't have a whole lot left more left to do. Let me use English. It's very pretty, and I'm not using black. I have this written down on the chart, which I don't have right here. I think it's on Picture This Plus Dusk, so it's not quite black. It's very gray, grayish black. And I didn't bring this out at all because I haven't worked on it. I'm also still stitching America the Beautiful as part of the stitch along. And then also America the Beautiful was one that I had chosen to stitch with Kiralyn Occasion Creates on Instagram, and the hashtag is America250SAL with her. So I'm double dipping stitch alongs there. And what I have left for that, the 13 for 250th SAL is October Houses Faded Flag, Erin Elizabeth Stars and Stripes. I can't remember if I was going to stitch both patterns or if I was just going to stitch those stars. I mean, it wouldn't take much to stitch the flag as well. To be determined. And then samplers and primitives, flowers of freedom. But I've done quite well keeping up with that stitch along, as long as I can get those bigger pieces stitched up in time. I wanted to share some Patriotic haul. All of it is not real new. I received some just at the beginning of the year, but wanted to share that. But I had finished some more of the interchangeable porch leaners. So I will put a picture in here of the honeybee and the watermelon. I can't remember if I had shown the 4th of July from last time, but that would be the top. That would be the middle insert. And you see there's glitter on that one. I did use metallic. That bronze is metallic. And then here's the bottom insert, the flag. And just to give you an up close look. So I'm pretty sure that I had mentioned before that there's a number of businesses that cut these inserts out. These two that I'm going to show you are the larger, like the wood was thicker. I had to sand this to be able to get behind the little shelf that it goes behind. And even the middle insert, I had to sand all the way around it and for it to fit in because it's so much bigger. So that was quite a hassle. I'm glad I didn't order many from that place because they just don't match up with the other. Anyhow, for the watermelon for summer, this was the top, and I did use micro glitter black paint on the ants. Here's the center, and then there is the pinkish glitter for sweet. And this watermelon is humongous. And the honey. There's the top. I put some, is that glitter? Okay, I used a metallic gold that I kind of just sponged on the honey jar. And I did that on the dipper as well, but I also added some gold glitter to the dipper. And I think I added some sparkly, yeah, I did. Some gold to the center of the daisy. Here's the center. I had to add magnets too because these, they just weren't staying as well in that center part, so I modified them to fit. And I used that gold glitter paint. And here is the biscuit. And I just dry brushed. My lighting's in and out. Let me let the camera adjust if it will. Doesn't look like it. There we go. I just dry brushed some darker paint on here, so it gave it some dimension. Thank you for letting me share those. I know it's not cross stitching, but I'm enjoying those wood crafts. Okay, for a Patriotic haul, I did order We Are Blessed, the collaboration between Risa Kogut and Chantel with the drum and the pattern. Teresa Kogut's other pattern with the eagle with the crest in the middle of it was really pretty, but I'm going to just stick with this one. And excuse me for a moment. My husband just walked through the door and the dogs got excited. Heartstring Samplery, is her name Beth Twist? Yes. She has sent out an e-newsletter and announced that she had kits for this bonfires and illuminaries pattern, which I'm sure she will be releasing at some point just without the kit. I haven't even really looked at it. Here's the cover of the chart. So it's a spool, and this is banding. There's some lace around the edge. It's very long. Stitch count is 31 by 1012. So the banding I had to order from Bichelt, and I don't know if you have ever ordered on there. You can't order for yourself. You have to order. Well, it's mainly wholesalers, shops that purchase on there, but you can make an order for yourself and put your local needlework shop's name in there. I use Silver Needle just because I have purchased with them numerous times. Anyhow, so I'm waiting for Wichelt to send the banding to Silver Needle, and then they will send it to me. So I don't know how long that will take. I've never had to do that before. So in the rest of this is what came in the mail. Heartstring samplery. So I got the spool, and I got the lace, the ribbon, and there's a button right here. And I didn't look to see if they had a photo of the finish all pulled out. They don't. And it reads, "The great anniversary festival ought to be solemnized with pomp and parade, with games, bell, bells, bonfires, and illuminations from the end of this continent to the other, from this time forward forevermore. If that is a quote from back in the day, I don't know. There's a little story between Abigail Smith and John Adams, so I said I haven't read it through. Anyhow, that is another patriotic piece of haul. I'm not going to put this all back together right now. On Loose Thread Stitchers, Jeannie and Leanne. Jeannie shared her finish of this Biscornu from Little Stitch Girl. I purchased directly on Etsy, but I think the paper chart's available through other stores. It has Rainbow Gallery, Petite Treasure Braid. I think it's the white, blue, and red. I know there's DMC in it. Oh, there is gold Petite Treasure Braid also. There's Classic Colorworks, Granny Annie, which is blue, Ribbon Red, which is red, of course, and Snowball is white. There's DMC conversion for those. And Fabric Flair announced some Patriotic fabrics. I don't have a board. It's going to show. Ooh, you can't even tell what that is. Give me 1 second. I'm afraid these just aren't going to show very well. This is the Declaration on Parchment. It's 36 even weave. Maybe. I'm just going to see if this will help at all. So it's very faint writing, the Declaration of Independence on here. So if you have these kind of pieces, because the writing or the graphic is so big, you need to really plan out what you want to have stitched on. I know you can't see this. I'm just kind of giving you a marker of how big the text goes out. So this would be great for a sampler. And I know a lot of those have been released at market. No, I can't fold this back up. Okay. Let's see if this one will show any better since it's darker. A little bit. So you see 1776 at the top. This again is, I think it's 36. Looks like it. Even weave. Gotten where I don't like 36 count linen just because you get some of those threads that are just a hair's width and I end up missing them even though I wear magnifiers. You see there's just the faint, here we go, the flag. It's definitely darker than my lighting is giving this. Again, it's Fabric Flair. You can go to their website. That's funny. This is marked winter seam, but this is the preamble. We have people. There's an inkwell pen. So it's the preamble of the Constitution. This one doesn't have what it was called. It's the flag. And even though this is just red, white, and blue, again, it would be more suited for a sampler or a larger piece to be stitched on it. And these ones, you can put smaller things on here. Patriotic confetti. I chose this in 28 count. even weave. And this is Patriotic Petals, even weave. And I'm going to take my laptop out on the porch and finish up this video. I thought I'd finish this video up outside since there's more noise inside now. I just wanted to give a quick life update with the chickens. We still have 13 hens. That's how many we started out with, and we're typically getting 11 to 13 eggs a day, which is fantastic. We don't eat that many eggs, so we share with our church family and a couple of our neighbors, and my mother-in-law and my grandmother-in-law. We've had some drama with, I can't remember if I have shared this already, Copper, who I'll post a picture in here. She's one of our sweetest hens, and she was the one who always loved to adventure out and explore. She ended up getting what I think is henpecked. I don't think a rooster was picking at her. They drew blood from pecking at her head, is the back of her head here, and I found her in the coop one morning when I had first opened the coop and brought her inside. This was, 2 months ago now. Anyway, her feathers are pretty much all regrown. She's been in her own little coop that if you ever get chickens, it says that it can hold 4 to 6 chickens, I think. I mean, it can barely hold one. Yes, you can shove all 4 in there, but you definitely wouldn't be able to have them in the little run space that's attached to it. It's just very small. And there's 2 nesting boxes in it. She usually doesn't use the roost at night. She sits in the nesting box, and that's where she seems to sleep. Anyhow, we've let her out to just run around with the other chickens for a bit until they start being nasty with her. For whatever reason, they don't like her. So she's fairly well healed. The day that my friend came to visit, it was a Sunday. I had just gotten home from church, and I went out to the little fenced area that we keep our chickens in, and my naughty boy, he wasn't there to greet me, and I found him inside the coop just looking very worn out, and he was bloody, and it appears that he and one of the other roosters had gotten into a fight. Sorry, there's a car that was pulling into the driveway I didn't recognize, but they're just backing up. We did have 4 roosters, 13 hens, and I had named 2 of the roosters Beavis and Butthead. They looked exactly alike. They're clueless, they're just very different, and I don't think that they knew that they were roosters. I don't think they know whether they're roosters or hens. They were always the last ones to go into the coop at night, and after, I don't know, a number of nights, I was just like, you know what, I'm tired of this. If you want to stay out, stay out. So for a couple of nights, both of them stayed outside of the coop. They were still in the fenced area, so it's electrical fencing, so predators couldn't get to them from the ground. But one morning I went out there and only one butthead was out there. And I'm thinking, there's no feathers. I'm thinking an owl, a large owl must have taken it. And this other, even though I call them Beavis and Butthead, they're both Butthead. The other Butthead is just still here, even though we've left him out of the coop many nights. Freckles was one that came, Freckles and Naughty both came with our hatchery order. And we had ordered one rooster. I think Naughty was our surprise chick that didn't specify whether it was, male or female bird. But Freckles is a very handsome rooster, and I hate to see him go, but I think that he's going to end up being on his way just because Naughty and him continue to fight, and Naughty's always been the dominant rooster with all the hens. You probably don't really care about this. I'm just yammering on about my chickens. One of my friends says, I've never heard anyone talk about their chickens so much. It's new to us. You know, we've not had chickens before. So, anyway, Naughty was injured in that fight that he and Freckles had. It looks like his top beak got pushed in and is kind of buckled. And I've asked experts on Facebook expert pages, will it continue to grow? Will it eventually fall off? Like, will it continue to just develop buckled like that? Because even though he's eating fine, it's just that his two beaks don't meet together any longer. The top one is, like I said, it's been buckled up, so it's more like this instead of like this. So, yeah, there's our chicken drama. I think that's the gist of that. Great Dane, he's going to be 5 this year, and we've not bred him, and vets now say to wait until the hormones develop for these large dogs before you have them neutered. But the prime time to have them neutered is between 4 and 5 years because they can eventually develop testicular cancer. So I had taken Kodiak, who is our Great Dane, in for a check, and also he had a lump on his neck, which I thought was a mole that kind of just developed overnight. But I wanted to have it checked out, and the vet was like, I can do the surgeries this afternoon for the neutering, and you know, do the cyst. It ended up being a cyst removal at the same time, but I didn't know what to expect having that large of a dog just having surgery, so I bought a huge cone at Tractor Supply, and thankfully, like, we didn't have to use it. When we first tried to put it on him, he kind of freaked out. And the vet just recommended this. It's called ick spray, which prevents licking. I have a hair in my mouth. So we just used that, and he healed up fine. Family drama. I had asked for prayer last Flosstube, and I'm still asking for prayer. My oldest son, he's 20 years old. He'll be 21 this fall. He's making choices that are heartbreaking, sad. It's not drugs or alcohol. I can be grateful for that, but you pray for your children to have good relationships and being just friends, girlfriends, boyfriends, spouses, and I don't want to, you know, divulge too much, but I would not pair up his girlfriend, not with him or actually anybody. It's not a matter of my son's too good for her or she's not good enough for him. It's that she's a compulsive liar historically. I've talked to her adopted mother, and her mother is the one who told me that, but you can't believe anything that comes out of her mouth. And my son is not seeing that at all, and he thinks that he wants to marry her, and she's very manipulative and controlling. And it's not that my son is just like being sucked up into being controlled. It's just that he doesn't see the manipulation. And I just pray that his eyes will be open to it and that he'll end up leaving that relationship. No one deserves to be manipulated in the way that she has, and that's been going on for off and on over a year now. So please keep him in prayer specifically for that. And my daughter still has some medical things going on. We are waiting for genetic test results at this point. My husband's job is unknown at this point. We're waiting for him to return last month because he's was in an area of the world that is under great turmoil right now, and I don't know if there's a job for him in a couple of months when he was due to go back. I'm glad that he was able to come home because he was not able to come home for a little while and we didn't have word. So when word was that he was actually coming home, it was in a hurry. So I appreciate prayers for our family. There's a couple of floss tubers that I didn't ask for permission to give their names, but one floss tuber's daughter-in-law is she went under surgery for brain tumor removal, and I know firsthand that's a very long, complicated recovery from a dear friend of mine is in the hospital still from her brain tumor surgery in December. So please keep her and her family and her grandchildren in prayer. And another one is having knee replacement surgery this upcoming Monday, which is the 16th. Anyhow, I pray for you. I know that everything that we've had going on in our lives seems worrisome to most, and you know, of course, I'm concerned for my children mostly, but I also know that God loves us and He sees us and He cares for us. Just like on my shirt, if He cares about the birds, then we are more of value than even the little birds that He takes care of and feeds. So I hope that all of you are well. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.